Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Watercolor Wednesday. I'm Leslie Watkins. Well, I hope you're all staying cool. It's very warm here today, not as bad as I think it was yesterday, but it's still plenty warm, so I'm staying in the shade. And today I thought I would use a couple of stamp sets and the coordinating dies, and also the new in colors to do a little watercolor painting, but this time using the water-based inks. So what I did was I went into my positive thoughts and I used this beautiful frame border that has these wonderful little spots creating a sort of a triangular design around the edge. And I cut out a piece of Fluid 100 watercolor paper with it. So that looks like this. And then what I did was I took this stamp, this big bouquet with pale papaya, and I went ahead and I stamped an outline, and that looks like this. And you can see the beautiful edge that framelit gave me on the watercolor paper. So that's what I'm going to be using to paint on today. And I'm going to also use the pale papaya ink. And I have a little bit on the lid of my stamp pad here. I also have the polished pink. I'm just going to line these up. This is fresh freesia. And for my greens, I have soft succulent and evening evergreen. So I just have these lined up in front of me as a palette to paint with. And I also have a water painter, which is one of the brushes that has the reservoir in the handle. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to squeeze a couple of drops of water like so, just to get that started. And I'll zoom you in so you can see a little bit better, I think. Let me move these aside. There you go. Okay, so I'm just going to very lightly put a little wash on my leaves. This is the soft succulent. Okay, so that's all the leaves. And now I'm going to take some of my evening evergreen, which is the much darker green, and I'm just going to add a little bit of that. I really like the hand-penned bundle, and I'm going to show you why in just a couple of minutes, because I am using the dies that come with this set, and when you get them together you can save 10% on your purchase. And you'll also need a stamp and cut and emboss machine, which is the machine that allows you to use the dies to cut out these shapes onto cardstock or DSP or gold foil paper or any of the metallic foil papers. And the machine also allows you to make embossed patterns on your paper as well. So if this is something that you think you might want to do more of, I would strongly suggest you check out the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And if it does look like something that you're interested in, then let me know, because there is a special deal where if you get the starter kit and you spend $125, you get free shipping and you get a savings of $26, so to bring your total down to just $99. So that definitely helps to make the machine more affordable. All right, so there are my leaves. So I'm going to close up my greens to make a little more room here. And I'm going to use the pale papaya in the centers of my flowers. Just like that, and I think I'm just going to bring that out a little bit more. There we go. And now I'm adding a couple of drops of water to my polished pink color. I'm just going to put a very pale wash. Get that started. There we go. And I think I'll try some of the freesia color for my smaller flowers. And then I want to add a little bit more color around the edges. And really that's all there is to it. So there's a cute little watercolor that you can do using your water-based inks and a little bit of stamping. And I'm just going to take a darker mixture here and just add a little more in my centers. And then just put a couple of strokes on my petals. There we go. Okay, so that's my painting done, and now I'm going to assemble my card. And I did some die cutting ahead of time just to make the video go a little bit faster today. So what I have is a piece of the fresh freesia cardstock, and this is the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 standard size card, and I just cut a window out of the front, and for that I used this coordinating die. So if you look at the dies, you'll see that there are two here that go together. So there's the one that cuts out this sort of filigree, and then the other one that cuts out just the window. So I used the window die here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount my artwork inside the card, and then the window will let that show through the front. But before we get to that point, I also did something else, which was to use this very pretty scalloped edge that comes with the dies. And for that, I used a piece of the very vanilla cardstock, and I cut it down slightly so that there's a nice little border around the edge so you can see the fresh freesia cardstock. And then I used the scalloped edge along the right hand side here. So I'm going to go ahead and mount that together. So I'm using my liquid glue. And I'm also going to go around the shape of the window. And there's this one little piece that comes out like a little peninsula here, so I want to get some glue on that. And now very carefully, and I think what I want to do is I want to put my scrap paper under here first, because this might get a little bit messy. So now I'm just going to line up my shape. Just like so. And this is where those dies really make your job so much easier, because they're absolutely precise, and you know that everything's going to match up perfectly. Give that a good burnish. Okay, so there is the front of my card. And now the next thing I want to do is get my little painting mounted in there. So again, I'm going to use the liquid glue. And the liquid glue gives you a little bit of wiggle room so that you can get that just where you want it to be. Okay, so you can just keep checking. That looks pretty good. Maybe just a scooch this way. And there it is. Okay. Alright, I'm happy with that. And again, burnishing. If you don't have a bone folder, the bone folder can be your best friend. I have it right to hand at all times. So there is my window with my artwork mounted on the inside. But we can take this another step further, and remember this filigree die that fits inside this window die so perfectly. What I've done is I've used that to cut out some gold foil paper, and I'm going to glue that right on top of my ink painting. And I'm just going to use the liquid glue again, and this time I'm going to just dot it very gently in these thicker places. And again, this is where the beauty of the dies really shines, because you can get all this amazing precision cut paper work done with just the spin of the wheel on the machine. And the intricacy, the fineness of the finished piece is just really amazing. Now I'm just going to find my tweezers for this. Oh, I see a place I missed. Let me just get some glue over here. There we go. Alright, so I'm just going to carefully pick this up with my tweezers, and I do see a couple of little places that I missed punching out, so I'm just going to poke those little tiny bits out. Okay. And then keeping the card closed so I can get this exactly where I want it. I can just kind of center that just like so. Alright, so I'm just going to hold that for a moment so it doesn't shift. And there is my beautiful card with the window cut out to reveal this beautiful gilded little picture. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that today. There are also some very nice sentiments included in the set. So there's one here that says "Feel Better, Friend," which would fit very nicely right down here if you had someone who wasn't feeling well. There's also a "Congratulations," "Anything is possible," and "Thanks." So this is a really nice bundle, and there is some beautiful DSP designer series paper available to go with it, and all sorts of other little embellishments. So thank you for joining me. I hope this gave you some ideas about how you can use these wonderful dies. They're so versatile. Not only do you have the dies that match up to the bouquets, but there are also some leaves and some additional flowers and some other little flowers. But the two-step die so that you can create a window like this is really a lot of fun to use and gives you some very special results. Stay well, stay cool, stay creative, and I'll see you next time on Saturday for Paper Crafting Saturday.